Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Nest Talk. This is episode 3 during our Division 3 week. In case you've missed it, we have so much content going out this week, all across our social media channels, YouTube, all of that fun stuff. But I am so excited to sit down with Nikki Boon today. She is amazing. If you haven't been following her, you've been living under a rock. So welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much.
So let's get into it. So you're from the Netherlands. So you are a foreign student. You started at Coastal Carolina, did your undergrad there, and now you're here. So let's get into all of it.
Okay, yeah. What do you want to know?
So let's just start. How was it competing? Coming from the Netherlands then to the States at Coastal Carolina.
Very different. Back in the Netherlands, my dad coached me, and so it was very personal, very personalized. Obviously, my dad's he knew what worked for me and what didn't, and so we've kind of perfected that. And then coming to the States, they have a very different coaching philosophy and ways of training, and so that was a bit of a transition. And then just the way the whole season is built and kind of mismatches with coaches and things that didn't work for me, and so it was kind of a rough situation to be in because I felt like I was putting in all the work that I could and giving it everything, and I just wasn't seeing the progress that I thought I should see. So it wasn't easy, but I think I kind of figured out what did work for me, and I just kept working. But now I'm at Emory, and I think this is a much better coaching fit for me, and I think it shows in my results. So yeah.
So how is that? A lot of college students will leave home and go to college, but was that a little bit harder for you? One, you're leaving your country, and then two, you're leaving your coach and your dad.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I was 18 years old, and I was just really, really excited. So I was oh my God, I'm gonna move across the world. I'm so excited. And I wasn't I also had a ton of fun. And I met so many amazing people, and my teammates there were absolutely amazing, and we're still really close friends. And I always still talk to my dad, and I called my mom, and so I would send him videos and be like what do you think I should be doing, or do you have any cues and things like that. So I was just happy to be there, honestly.
Did you find, other than the coaching philosophy, did you find a really big difference in competing in the Netherlands versus the States?
Not necessarily. I think a meet is a meet. The way that the multis are set up over here are a little bit different because they use a rolling schedule, and back home it's just time. But that was the only thing. Back home, everybody in the Netherlands kind of knows each other. The track community is really, really small, and so when you go to meets, you see people every single time, and you compete with these people for 10 plus years. So you kind of have friends everywhere you go. And in the States, it's kind of just your people on your own team, and that's it. So that's a little bit different, but other than that, a meet's a meet. You got to compete, you got to show up. So
all right, so you graduate from Coastal Carolina, you get your degree there. What then brought you here and then made you say, you know what, I want to keep competing as well as get another degree?
I started track when I was 5, and so it's always just been 50% track, 50% school. And I don't think I ever shared the philosophy that once I got my college degree, that's it sports-wise. And I obviously still had a ton of eligibility left. But the main reason for coming to Emory was because I got into their PhD program. And so after I got the acceptance letter, I was let me see if they would let me walk onto their team. So I reached out to Coach Lane, our head coach, and he was oh yeah, absolutely, I'll put you in touch with the more specific event coaches. And so we kind of got the ball rolling that way, and yeah, now I've been a part of the team, and I love it.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're getting your PhD in neuroscience. So, ladies, I mean, she's out here getting a neuroscience PhD while also being one of the best track athletes we've seen in this program. So that's kudos to you for that. But speaking of your accolades, for those who don't know, just this season alone, you were the national champion, and you are now the D3 record holder in the indoor pentathlon. And then a few weeks ago, in just the second meet of outdoor season, you break the national record. And like in the heptathlon, how do you do it? How do you balance all of that while also going out and say, you know what, I'm gonna go set these records, school records, national records. I'm gonna do it all.
I think just like having my PhD program and then having track like both keep me sane. Like in the lab, I won't have to think about track, and on a track, I don't have to think about my lab. So I think splitting my time between them kind of just like is like the perfect balance. But as far as like track and like record wise, I think this is the first year where I've had like consistent training, and like I haven't been like practicing and then like injured and then practicing and injured, and so I finally had like a solid fall to build off of. And I think, you know, like Coach Jess and the other coaches just like they know what they're doing, and so I trust them. And I was feeling strong, and so I think inners was just like everything aligned, if that makes sense. Because that's the thing in like the multis, like you don't have to just do it once, you have to do it like 5 times in a row. And so I think that just aligned really well, and so we kind of tried to like ride that wave off of indoors into outdoors to get a qualifying mark. And so I didn't only get a qualifying mark, I broke the record as well, which is great. So yeah, and now it's kind of like back to work.
Yeah. I some people might think, you know, Division 3s aren't maybe on the same level as Division 1. Did you kind of like, I guess I should say, how did you maybe get past that mindset coming from a Division 1 to a Division 3? And did you kind of say, it doesn't matter what level I'm at, I'm going to work to be the best?
Yeah, I think that's just always the mindset I've had. I mean, track is such an individual sport, and whether you're part of a team or not, like, it's your own marks that count. So I've always had that mindset, and I mean, whether you're in D1, D2, or D3, like, you're surrounded by people who sacrifice so much time and effort every single day to, like, improve themselves and to be there and, like, sacrifice so many things for the same sport. So I feel as long as you're surrounded by people who, like, care, like, it doesn't matter what division you're in. And I mean, like, it's not like our athlete, like, they're not bad athletes. Like, we have so many amazing athletes here at Emory, and like including on the track team. And so I think people think that like, oh, like they think like it's a lower number, so like the marks aren't as good, but like we have phenomenal people on our team. So I don't think I ever like, it wasn't like a transition where I was like, oh, like I don't know, like it's such a different like culture or like mindset, because like people here work their asses off like every single day, just as people do in D1. So
yeah. And I think our conference too in the UAA is so amazing athletic wise, but also, you know, we have a lot of student athletes in the UAA that are similar to you, where you're getting a very high degree and going through a very intense program. So I think that's just amazing.
yes, yeah, you kind of just know that everyone around you, you know, like they're going for it academically, they're going for it athletically, and you know, everyone can relate to you at some level one way or another. So it's nice to know that you're all kind of in the same boat.
All right, so other than all of the success that you've had, what has been kind of a highlight since you've been here?
Oh God,
I'm sure there's a lot.
there's so many. I think I'm just really thankful to be a part of the team, because I feel so supported. Like outdoors, you know, like people that weren't competing, like they came out just to cheer me on, because like the only thing that was going on was the multi. So like they came to cheer me on, and like at nationals in there, like I get messages from people like, oh, like we're watching the live stream and like we're cheering for you. And so I think just feeling the support from like my coaches and my team has been just like a consistent highlight for me. Yeah, I think that's just like the big thing. Like there's just been like so many great moments like in my program too, like getting to bond with my cohort and like kind of like seeing each other develop like our own projects that like we're going to be working on for the next couple of years, and like hearing about our own research interests and like ups and downs in that. So yeah, I think just like the people around me for the most part.
So you kind of touched on when you're in the lab, you're in the lab, and when you're on the track, you're in the track. But how do you, I want to get into a little bit more about how you balance that, how you time manage, all of that, because I'm sure it can't be easy.
It's not. I always tell people like I literally just show up where I'm needed. If practice starts at 3 or 3:30, I'm there, and like that's what I'm going to be doing. If I need to do an experiment in lab at like 9 or 10, that's where I'm at, and like that's what I'm going to be doing. And so like because I think I've always done it like throughout my entire life, it's just kind of like what I do and what I'm used to. Um, and like sometimes you have to like sacrifice or like puzzle a little bit to figure out what works best. But I think we have like a good system going on where I feel like I can get most of my stuff done in the lab and like have adequate time on the track to like get my practices in. Um, and if there's like a little more I have to do on the weekend, I can do it on the weekend or things like that. But I think I just always find a way to make it work.
So, what is your goal for the season? You've already done amazing things this season, but what's left for you to do?
Stay in one piece. 100%. I feel like I've been doing pretty good, like staying injury free this year. So definitely that. And then, just trying to see if I can improve. Like a lot of the events that I did at my HEP was like the first time I'd done it in a year. So hopefully I can improve on them and then get a better mark at nationals. But yeah, just see if I can keep going.
So I'm curious to know what's the next step with your degree? What do you want to do with it? How has Emory kind of helped you get to what you want to do?
Yeah, so like the next big like milestone that we have coming up is our oral qualification exam, where you basically present to a committee what you're going to be doing for the next couple years, and then they ask you any possible question that they can ask you on like techniques or like just the setup of your experiments or literature. So that's what we're preparing for right now. And afterwards, like once I'm done, I have no idea what I want to do yet. There's pros and cons to academia and industry both. So hopefully in like my next couple years, I'll kind of figure out which way I'm swinging and maybe discover something cool or like do an internship somewhere. But right now, like I'm just honestly happy to be here and like happy to be working on my project.
We've got a lot of time left to do all that. So we always end with a piece of advice. So what is some advice that you would give to someone looking to compete collegiately? Maybe they're in that mindset of, oh, it's Division III. What would you say to them to maybe pull them to a Division III program?
Don't think because it's Division III that it's any easier. Like my training regimen, D1 to D3, like honestly is not that different. You're expected to be out there every single day, like in the weight room and on the track. So don't think D3 is like an easy way out, because it's definitely not. But with that being said, like if you love the sport and like that's why you're doing this, then like just work really hard and find a method that works for you both academically and like time management wise and on the track or any other sport that you choose to come here for. But with that being said, like I always tell people, give yourself grace as well. Like if you know you're doing everything you can and you're working hard, like be nice to yourself. And as an athlete, that's one of the hardest things to do because we want to be better, and so we feel like we have to be hard on ourselves all the time. But things are so much easier when you try to be kind, and just like appreciate your teammates and support them because they'll be there for you to support you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We love watching all that you do, and you definitely make us proud here at Emory, and we're so happy that you decided to come and join us. But thank you so much for joining us, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.